two fun things happened recently. One is I got a new camera, and two is that Addie had her PCOS 100-day photo shoot. The photographer suggested we wait 2 weeks after she turns officially 100 days because that's when he typically notices that babies gain more neck strength, and he was right. She did a fantastic job, and I think at one point she was even doing push-ups. That day we were filled with excitement and gratitude, but there was a time when all of this felt like a distant dream. So I decided to do a 3-part mini-series. The first one being this video, which I will share with you our conception journey. Then the next 2 will be pregnancy journey and postpartum experience thus far. Okay, let's go. May 23rd, 2021 was one of the happiest times of our lives. That's when Tim and I got married. As newlyweds and just having moved into our new home, we spent a few months just enjoying ourselves as a couple, and soon enough we were like, I think we're ready to start trying for a baby. And in the beginning it started off sweet and we weren't really thinking about it, but as months went by and I kept getting negative tests, pregnancy tests, I started to worry, and I kept thinking to myself, why is it so hard? I thought it would be much easier. I've always had irregular menstrual cycles, and in college I was officially diagnosed with PCOS. And at the time I had no idea what that was. The only symptom that was explained to me was during the ultrasound, hey, you have an abundance of eggs attached to your ovaries, and to manage that you can take birth control. Would you like? And so I was like, oh, it's that simple. Sure, let's do it. Fast forward, I found myself sitting in the fertility clinic. I would say that it was one of the most frustrating, miserable, and loneliest times of my life. I was so confused because all of our tests came back normal, with the exception of my PCOS. And after speaking with the doctor, Tim and I agreed that it would be best for us to do 2 consecutive IUI treatments. And the weeks leading up to the IUI procedure, Tim drove me to these 6 a.m. appointments to get my blood drawn, and it was very tiring, both physically and mentally. The waiting room was filled with women of all ages and circumstances, but I think the one thing we had in common was we didn't want to be there. After the 2 procedures, we had to wait 2 weeks, and I went through a wave of emotions every single day for those 2 weeks. The nurse finally called to tell us that we failed the test, and I remember my mind going completely blank. I remember also trying to text Tim the news, and I could barely see my phone screen because I was crying so much. Sorry. After much discussions, Tim and I, about a week later, decided we'll take a pause. We don't know when we'll get back to it, but in the meantime, let's go somewhere. And so we decided to go to Thailand to decompress. And I think in hindsight, that was one of the best things that we did for ourselves. What began as a brief Google search soon led me deep into the realm of PCOS. Along the way, I discovered valuable resources, which I will link in the description. I realized a few things. I was not eating the right way for my body type. Stress had such a huge toll on my physical and mental well-being, and the whole process was straining my relationship with Tim. With the start of the new year, I decided to prioritize my health and seek ways to de-stress. I began exercising, I received acupuncture, I read books, took online courses, listened to podcasts to learn how to manage my PCOS. I made significant changes to my lifestyle, and more importantly, I threw away all of my ovulation tests. They do not work for people with PCOS or anyone who do not have a normal menstrual cycle. Read the fine prints. Jessica. Each week felt easier than the last. And on March 2nd, 2023, I decided to take a pregnancy test in the morning. The night before, my nips were feeling tingly, my body was slightly feverish. I just remember my whole body felt like something was going on. And for a brief moment, I thought maybe all these positive lifestyle changes made me more aware of my symptoms, and perhaps this is what a menstrual cycle is supposed to feel like. Or could it be? Maybe? As I was bringing the strip to the counter, I saw 2 lines. And I remember my heart beating so fast, I thought it was gonna come out. I ran to Tim and showed him the stick, which naturally he was like, what is going on? But soon realized that I was showing him that I was positive. That morning was filled with so much energy. Before we left the house to go to work, I was like, no, I had to take another test. I don't believe it. And I realized that the stick that I used was expired by a couple of months. I did a quick Google search. Apparently, it doesn't matter. You can use expired tests. I don't remember up until when, but it still works. But I decided to take the digital one, and it was pregnant. Or I was pregnant. It showed that I was pregnant. I truly believe that the lifestyle changes that we've made, with a touch of hope, made all the difference. I understand that we were also very lucky and blessed in many ways. Tim needed that mental and physical break as well. As hard as it was for me, he needed to hear me say, I'm okay, let's take a break. Our partners are a huge part of the process, and it's very important to keep open communication and be kind to each other. The infertility journey is very frustrating and can be very lonely, so it's very important to be supportive of each other. We took a few more trips as a couple, and I was able to reassess my health so I can make better choices then and now. I am sending you all the positive energy your way if you are in the thick of it. Stay strong. You will be a mama and papa soon. See you in the next video. Annyeong, bye!